Yeah, hello everyone. I'm here with Elliot, and today we got a fly here. Today we're going to be going
Oh,
over a few questions that we got on Twitter. Usually we go over some questions that we get on our Patreon about health, about performance, about wellness. But all of our patrons are pretty healthy right now, so they haven't asked any questions. So we're going to go over some questions that we got on Twitter about ergonomics for the controller, which is a big one that I really want to address, and then some questions about exercise. So, Elliot, why don't you start? You got a question on Twitter about doing exercise until fatigue and how that
yeah.
can potentially address things.
I got a question from Joey at Shy FPS um, about basically different things to do during his workout. So the question reads, "Hey, I was curious about a few things and was hoping you could help. I was wondering if doing wrist extensions to fatigue twice after lifting was significantly better than just doing it once to fatigue and then heading home, since I hate waiting to do the next set to fatigue. Would rather just do one. Also, I was curious if hanging from a pull-up bar would help endurance as well. Thanks." All right, good question, man. I think we all can relate to the struggle of not wanting to stick around and do extra sets. But let's dive into this a little bit here. So before I answer this question, I just want to give you guys some background here. When we go to the gym, the main reason we are there is to get stronger, and we can do this in a couple different ways. So to simplify a lot of complex science, we are either training strength or endurance as gamers, and it's really in our best interest to improve the endurance of your arms and postural core muscles to avoid pain while you game. And we improve endurance by doing a lot of reps, so like 12 to 15 at a lighter weight, 3 times. So when you're doing your reps, that 15th rep should really feel fatiguing. That should be almost impossible to maintain your form while doing. And when we are talking about fatigue, we mean your form is starting to break down. It's not like when you're starting to feel pain or things are starting to burn. It's just you're not able to maintain the movement control that you need to do the exercise that you're doing. Um, so that being said, that 15th rep for endurance should be fatiguing. So if you're not able to do the 15 reps at a certain weight, it's totally fine just to bump that weight down just a little bit so you can complete the set with good form. So next, we're going to talk about building up strength, which is a little bit different than endurance. Strength is just your ability to move heavy weight. And the way we build strength is by performing less reps with a heavier weight. So that's usually in the range of 6 to 8 repetitions for 3 sets. And the same rule applies with dropping the weight to 3 sets if fatigue starts to set in. So you're better doing 1 set to fatigue, but if you only get, or I'm sorry, it's better to do 1 set to fatigue, but if you can only get in, I'm sorry, it's better to do 3 sets to fatigue. But if you can only get in 2 sets or 1 set, that's fine too. Yeah, basically doing 2 sets is going to be better than doing 1 set, and then doing 3 sets is going to be the best. It's just about time under tension because we build muscle the longer that we load them. So the tension is the weight that we're applying, and the time is the amount of time that we're spending doing that exercise. So your muscles respond to that by adding more muscle, different types of muscle, and that's how we really improve our endurance and ultimately our heat meter that helps us prevent injuries.
Yep.
So the rest time between sets should be about 30 seconds to 1 minute, and you should be allowing your muscles to recover so you can load them as strongly as you can when you go back and do more sets, which will really help you build more muscle by uh, loading them as hard as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So, Matt, do you want to talk a little bit more about the benefits
Yeah.
of the isometric pull up?
Yeah, for sure. I'm getting a little shitty bitrate right now, so hopefully it's not really affecting the quality of the stream for anyone.
Okay.
Anyone in the chat, if you guys can let us know if it's bad at all in any way, just hit me up. But yeah, I can definitely answer the question. I think that's a having a isometric pull up or do a bar hang is a super beneficial additional exercise specifically for anyone that might have wrist pain. And if you're already going to the gym and you want to add it as sort of a final exercise before you head home, I really think that's probably the best way to incorporate that type of exercise into your regular routine. So for tendon issues, isometric, or when the muscle is contracting and the length of the muscle isn't moving. So when you're doing a bar hang, holding on a bar and just maintaining it there, the muscle length isn't actually changing, but it's contracting, it's working, it's holding your weight up against gravity. And that not only helps with strength, if obviously you're heavy enough and you're holding your weight up against gravity, but it can also help with motor drive, how well your brain sends signals all the way down into your forearms and hands and muscles that you use so commonly when you're playing games, especially on the controller or on the PC. But what I think is even more underappreciated is if you, as you're hanging there, engage your shoulder muscles or scapular stabilizers. I like to always reference this theory or this idea of you get what you train at the gym, right? So if you're at the gym and you're doing these shoulder shrugs and you're lifting your arms up like this, you're gonna train your movement into using your upper traps as you're using your grip muscles. And we don't want to do that, right? We want to make sure that we're using the proper muscles at our shoulders while we're moving our wrists around, while we're moving our fingers around with dexterity to click, to aim, to build, right, in whatever respective game that we're playing. So I think the bar hang is additionally a great exercise because you can engage your scapular stabilizers, but also utilize it as an endurance-based exercise for your forearms, for the grip muscles, for everything that you guys are using while you guys are gaming. So I love that as a final exercise if you guys are at the gym just holding, or at home for anyone that's watching on TikTok. If you guys have a pull-up bar, you can just hang at 3 to 4 times a day for 20 to 30 seconds, making sure you engage your scapular stabilizers so your elbows don't shrug up towards your ear. You're maintaining that, holding it in a lengthened position. And that can really help a lot with your ability to sit upright, your ability to play for longer without dealing with pain. So hopefully that was helpful for those who are already going to the gym, who are already exercising a little bit and are just curious about how to structure incorporating some exercises into their day or into that part of their schedule. For this second question, I got this question online, and really I've been getting a lot of questions about controller ergonomics and is there a way you can improve how you hold the controller to one, like maybe minimize stress? And that's the key thing that I really want to go over today. Oh, is that a GameCube controller?
Yeah, it's
Yo,
pretty sick.
okay. I didn't know you're a man of culture. I didn't know you play
Oh,
Melee.
you don't know a lot of
My
things about
bad,
me,
my
man.
bad. Okay, so yeah, this is something I really want to go into depth, and I'm probably gonna go over it in a YouTube video where I really break down what I always call the esports science behind the biomechanics of how you hold a controller. But there are some things I want to begin to at least help you guys understand, some basic concepts that you guys should understand with holding the controller, but also keybinds, right? So the number one thing you need to realize when you hold the controller is how you position your wrist and hand while you're holding it can really dictate the types of muscles and which muscles that you're utilizing during it. So, and what I mean by this is, if you guys check on the stream, and I'll show also my TikTok viewers this, but if you guys check the stream right now, I'm demonstrating how you should hold your controller, right? And if you see from the center of my wrist to the center of my knuckle, it should be in a straight line, right? If it's tilted downwards, and I'm just gonna straight up demonstrate it on stream. If it's tilted downwards like this, where my pinky is towards the ground, or if it's tilted upwards like that, then you're utilizing different muscles, right? You're utilizing some muscles on the top side. If it's tilted up, you're utilizing some muscles on the bottom side. Pinky-sided wrist pain for some of the people that were asking on TikTok. But you feel you might overutilize those controllers when maybe you're pressing a little too vigorously and you're having to stabilize the controller. You're utilizing those. You're engaging these muscles at the forearm to keep it in that same position. But so that's really the first thing you need to consider when you are holding a controller. Hey, am I holding it in the right position? Obviously, you want to have proper posture and ergonomics, but you need to make sure that it is in that neutral position and it's not going all the way up and it's not going all the way down. That's the one thing you have to realize and remember with controller ergonomics. And then the second thing is this one is way more interesting to me, and this is for all the Fortnite players. This is for all the controller scrimmas out there, right? And this is gonna be clippable for anyone watching that plays on controller. All right, watch this. So recently, I worked with a Fortnite competitive player that educated me a little more about his binds. Okay, and as a side note, I want to just say that controller players aren't really given enough credit for their dexterity on a controller with their binds, and we should all stop complaining, right? Oh, aim assist. I mean, just stop. Like
Just L2 spam.
yeah, I mean, I shouldn't expect much with the age of the competitive demographic, but just give respect to each other. Give respect to whatever peripheral you decide to use. Who cares what they're using? You guys are both trying to be competitive and play well at the game. Respect that. Okay, anyway, so this player told me that his binds were the following. All right, for those watching on Twitch, you guys, I'm gonna show you guys right now what that looks like. I'm gonna just draw it up. Oh, okay. We're gonna swap it over. Boom. Okay, so swapped it over. You guys can see here we have a demonstration, and I'm gonna just have my TikTok viewers hopefully see this too. Okay, so we have a demonstration here of what binds this competitive Fortnite player utilized as he plays. So his paddle 1 right over here is jump, and that's his left hand. His L1 is a cone right here. His L2 or the trigger is both aim and ramp. Okay, so both aim and ramp. His paddle 2 is edit, and his L3 over here is running. So for the TikTok guys, it's running over here. And then for paddle 1, it is right here. It is wall. Oh no, it is the build mode, to switch between build mode. And then R1 is wall, R2 is floor. As you can see, the majority of the binds on the left side. And guess what? This guy reached out to me because he had pain where? What do you think, Elliot? Where was his pain? In his left hand, right?
Yeah.
In his left hand. Because
Picture's mirrored.
yeah, exactly. Because look at all these binds, right? Look at what he's using. Look at what this man is using to play the game. If he plays 4 hours straight, of course he's going to be utilizing his left hand a lot more, right? So this is something really you guys have to consider if you guys begin to develop pain in your left hand as you guys are playing Fortnite, or as you guys are continuing to play longer hours. That can lead to pain because if you have a lot of the binds, or the distribution of binds are biased towards your left hand, of course you're going to be utilizing a lot more muscles on a regular basis on that side, and it might lead to a higher chance of irritation or higher chance of developing repetitive strain. But that doesn't mean that you can't have this specific bind distribution, right? You can. So I'm sure there's quite a few people out there that might already have this but don't have pain. But your goal should be that you want to prevent the development of these injuries. And it always comes back to the big three. I'm just going to change the camera back. It always comes back to the big three. You want to have the appropriate hand or wrist conditioning. And that means that you want to do the right exercises that work on the muscles that you utilize the most for the controller. So in this case, if he's using the paddle, the left trigger, the L1, L2, so consistently when he plays, he better be working those muscles. And here's an example of that. Right, so you can use a digiflex to train the muscles that you utilize so frequently as you're pressing the paddle, as you're pressing L1 or L2. And I'm demonstrating for you guys over here. Like, you can use a digiflex like this to train because it looks exactly like how you're holding the controller, right? It's the same thing. So, and demonstrating again, you can also use things like a stress ball to train those same muscles to have the capacity to handle the 3 to 4 hours of playing. So that is the most important thing that we have to realize. We need to first have one, the hand and wrist conditioning, and then two, we need to also have the better posture and ergonomics. And as I already showed, and I'll demonstrate again, you need to have the appropriate posture, and ergonomics. You need to make sure your wrist is straight. You need to make sure from the center of your wrist to the knuckle. And I'm just going to bring it back over here like this. From the center of the wrist to the middle knuckle should be in a straight line. It shouldn't be down. It shouldn't be tilted downwards, and it shouldn't be tilted upwards like that. That's a no-no. Those are all bad, right? It should be green in the center. This is good. If it's nice and aligned like that, it's great. So just remember, those are the... Oh, and then I totally forgot. Number 3 is you got aside from hand and wrist conditioning and then posture and ergonomics, you also want to have appropriate management of your lifestyle or schedule. So you want to be able to... Hold on, let me just take this off so it's not looping. You want to pay attention to how long you're playing and if you're taking breaks or not, because all of that, if you're playing 4 hours in a row, of course it's going to begin to overload or potentially irritate some of the muscles or tendons. And for this specific player that I was working with for competitive Fortnite, he had been playing for 4 hours straight, and we had to lower the volume a little bit to 3 hours because that was a period of time where he can manage without feeling an increase of pain, feeling just a little bit of discomfort, giving him the signal that, hey, he should probably stop a little bit, but also work on steps 1 and 2, which are the conditioning or the posture and ergonomic recommendations. So as a quick review for those that might just be tuning in, or you guys will definitely be able to watch this entire video back, but for an introduction of basic concepts for wrist ergonomics or console ergonomics and how you can hold the controller, you need to make sure that your wrist position is in neutral. That's the number 1 thing. And then number 2, you need to make sure that you optimize your bind distribution if you're just beginning to play on the controller, right? But if you don't have pain and you have maybe a bias of binds on the left side, I would focus on the big 3, and those are conditioning of your wrists, posture and ergonomics, and then your lifestyle and schedule management. Those are always crucial things that you need to work on to make sure that you can play more and hurt less. So that's pretty much it.